Hello and welcome to Handgun Radio. I'm Ryan Michad, the host of the show, and today I'm going to go over something that I've had a few questions on from people, and it's called the load one, skip one technique with single action revolvers. I don't own a single action. This is a Ruger single 6 that I have access to. This technique is usually done on the older single actions, the centerfire single actions that don't have the transfer bar safety. I'll show you the guns unloaded. Now if you look very carefully as the hammer is brought up, you can see that there's a transfer bar right there that goes in between the face of the hammer and the firing pin that's mounted in the frame. What that allows is, if I don't have the trigger pulled when that hammer falls, see as I've let off the trigger, watch how the bar falls. So if I don't have the trigger pulled all the way to the rear when that hammer strikes, it's not going to go off. So with the older single actions like your Colts that have the firing pin mounted on the frame, there's a technique of loading the guns called the load one, skip one technique. When I read about that before I started doing a lot of shooting, I didn't really know what that meant. Well, what it is it's a way for you to be able to load the gun and be able to put an empty chamber underneath the hammer. You know, a revolver is typically called the 6-shooter, but with those single actions, you needed to carry the gun with only 5 rounds and the hammer resting on an empty chamber. That way, if the gun was dropped and the firing pin, the hammer was struck, it wouldn't discharge the round, because a lot of people got killed that way. They'd drop it and it'd have 6 rounds in it and the gun would go off and shoot them. So I'm going to give you a little example with this gun. It may be a little bit different with the other ones, but typically you have to put the guns on half cock, but with this pistol, it has a ratcheting system, so the minute you open the loading gate, it allows the cylinder to spin freely. So we'll do the load one, skip one technique. So we're pointed down range, so I am loading live ammunition. You put one in, skip that chamber the next one around, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, when I close that loading gate, I should be able to bring that hammer back and lower it on an empty chamber. Now I'm going to open the loading gate, and if the next one that rolls over is an empty chamber, then the technique has worked. There you go, an empty chamber. So that is the load one, skip one technique, and demonstrated with a Ruger single 6 revolver. Thanks for watching, and for more great firearms related radio shows and podcasts, please visit www.firearmsradio.tv.